Looks like Champ Select is going to be getting in, and we are going to have the game starting. It looks like ATK is going to be starting on the blue side with Royalty on the red side.
Okay, I mean, talk to me about picks in terms of like first game rotation. We got blue, we got red. Do you feel like one side in particular is the side that you play for? Like, do you have a preference personally, and do you feel like it affects the outcome of the series?
I think with the current meta, blue side is can be favored, especially if you want to secure that first pick. I know ATK do have those pocket picks that they want to secure, so we might see something like this looks of Sejuani. We see the Wukong and the Aatrox has already been taken away from the side of ATK. So two powerhouse picks that we usually see in the top and the jungle. I would like to see a Sejuani ban coming in here, but I don't think we're going to see it, and I don't think ATK is going to go straight for the Sejuani pick just because that's open.
Yeah, like we mentioned before, I think tanks are quite highly prioritized, but at the same time, there are a couple of really, really strong non-tank picks that you may just prioritize. And again, first pick for blue side means they do have that first lock-in, which seems to be the priority of Varus.
This is interesting. I'm going to tell you
Elaborate.
why. This is Vanzor's go-to pick. He has been playing Varus throughout the playoffs, throughout the group stages, and it's just been something that teams have struggled to deal with. So they remove this pick from the side of Royalty, saying, no, we're going to take Varus, and Vanzor, you're going to need to find something else today.
Yeah, very strong takeaway, like you mentioned. And I mean, Varus having that potential of both going lethality or on hits makes it for a little bit more flexible of like a dynamic pick. At the same time, though, we have seen Varus mid in the past, so they have that potential for a cheeky flex. Very unlikely in this case. I'm pretty confident in saying that it will be going bot lane for Clax. But there's the Sejuani that you did mention.
So it looks like both teams are stealing picks from each other, because, I mean, if we look at Wednesday's game, Slayer did play the Syndra and not play the Sejuani. So, like, Royalty's like, we don't want you to have Syndra or Sedge. And ATK is like, okay, cool, but we don't want you to have Varus either.
There's a couple of comps that like very much just scream ATK. Like we said before, these players have played a lot in the past together. They generally do have certain play styles or certain champion comps they try to form. Obviously, Champ Select makes it a little bit more dynamic in terms of like the takeaways, but Jarvan is definitely one of those go-to like picks for Mr. Not in that ATK side.
And I think you can just see the time that these teams are taking. It's not like we're picking this, we're picking that. You can see they're discussing, they're saying, okay, what is going to work here? They've picked up Syndra, they've picked up the Sejuani. What are we going to play into it? How are we going to deal with this? So looks like the Nami's going to be picked up. Take that away from Darkside. Looks like these teams are literally just picking away from each other.
They've done the research.
They've definitely done it. I agree with you completely.
And like you mentioned before, that takeaway, Nami is very much Darkside's one of his go-to picks, the other one being that Nautilus. And I think Nautilus into Nami is a really nice matchup to play, especially into Varus, very immobile, very easy to lock him down. So I'm kind of expecting the cleanse to be taken in terms of AD carry from the side of ATK. But at the same time, the likes of like a Trundle is available if they do want to counter that sort of tank to an extent. So I'm kind of curious what we do get. But predictions for the second phase of the ban?
Well, I mean, I think that Sejuani is going top, firstly. I don't think that Royalty want to put it in the jungle. I think
But they have the option.
They do have the option, and that's what makes it such a great pick. They've picked it up. We did see Alpaca playing it in the top lane previously in the playoffs. So see Kai'Sa being banned away from Royalty as well. Also a top-tier AD carry as well.
Another go-to for Clax? No, not Clax.
Well, that's what I would expect Vanzor to be playing after his Varus has been taken away. Might see the Twitch or Misfortune being taken away, specifically just from Vanzor. But what I've learned over the years is you don't really ban Vanzor out. You take away one pick and he just comes with another. And because you've taken away his main pick, he just comes back guns blazing.
You can kind of see that with a lot of the players in terms of like the top tier like local scene, in that these players have been playing for so long that they don't have champion pools, they have champion oceans. So like it makes it really tricky to sort of take away or ban because there's so many other alternative go-to picks. So generally like a good rule of thumb is sort of like looking at solo queue, what have they been playing mostly recently? And for example, it could have been Nami this time, and let's just take them off that comfort power pick that they've kind of like putting the hours into recently.
No, absolutely, and it looks like the Tristana is going to be hovered with those 2 seconds remaining. It should be locked in, and that's going to be Vanzor on the Tristana. So that's actually quite an aggressive bot lane that we're going to be seeing here. They're looking for something hard engaged, getting the Nautilus onto whoever's target he might be, and there are some squishy picks for him to go through, so I would expect him to be focusing probably the Nami in these situations, if obviously if Varus is not available. But just with the lockup, the CC followed by the Tristana bomb, it's an explosive trade, and usually does into kills. But yes, that is a Urgot in the top lane. Signature pick from Jetlas, so I think that's going to be really great to see him playing.
I'm kind of curious as to what summoners we now get from bot lane, because I mean, generally into Tristana matchup, Tristana goes Exhaust, or you play Exhaust into Tristana, because the general rule of thumb is like, if she jumps into you, she's going to be doing more than 150 damage, in the sense of like, summoner heal is generally around that amount, so you kind of like, if you can get more value out of the Exhaust, which Tristana all ins, you go for that Exhaust option, but at the same time, Nautilus paid up with that, that's a lot of CC, and it looks like that final pick, the final lock-in is going to be Zed, so we got Zed Ziggs in the middle lane.
Oh, I think that's a Zed in the jungle.
Well,
I think that is Garth saying, I'm going to jungle with Zed. We did actually see it earlier this week, and it was a very unorthodox picks. I mean, yes, we've seen it in the solo queue, like Zed
like
has all of a sudden become a jungler. But in the South African scene, it's not a champion we generally see to begin with.
So on that note, I mean, Zed jungle can have a lot of like impact in the game. Again, Garth is a player, well, not really, we haven't really touched on it. Garth is kind of like a player who's been in the royalty side, but not much recently. He took a big break, he went to Dota, came back. Do you think that's a buff or a nerf? Like, does that carry across?
It's a questionable decision from his side, but spending some one-on-one time with Garth, just trying to understand the decision to do that, He kind of got to the point where it's
burnout.
It's burnout. He didn't have the same thrill for League of Legends anymore. And speaking to him last week, it's that burnout and that break that he took. It did him wonders, because he told me he's loving the game. He's got back into it. He can't wait to play competitive again. And it's so great just to see these players like sticking to their roots, coming back to it.
Like, it sounds kind of silly, but honestly, like, burnout is a massive thing, especially with some of these players who take the game very seriously. Like, at the end of the day, it is a game. You're playing competitive, you're trying to become the best in South Africa, but at the same time, like, unless you're having fun in the game, you're kind of almost... It's like wasted reps. Like, you're spending the time, but you're getting no little like return on that. So taking that long break, maybe switching to Dota, taking this complete cold turkey break, switching to CS or something, can always be an option. Like you mentioned, Garth kind of phasing out a bit, wasn't feeling it, now back even stronger, has his Z pick versus a team full of squishies, big potential.
Okay, so Sheepii, I need to ask you, looking at the two drafts...
I'm not changing my prediction.
You're not changing
I'm not changing my prediction.
I'm going to go on the royalty train. I mean, I'm a fan of the Zed jungle. I've seen it in action, and I just know that Garth, he'll play selfish as the Zed jungle, but he's going to secure kills, and he's going to, if he gets that ball rolling, he's going to make stuff
This
happen.
is a really nice comp to play the Zed into, because like I mentioned before, they're all super squishy. That's exactly what you want as Zed, but he's a champion that you really can't mess up on. It's kind of like the Jarvan to an extent, but if Jarvan falls behind, at least he still has CC. What does Zed have? Nothing.
He has the shadow, and yeah, I understand exactly where you're coming from there. It's a difficult situation that he can find himself in, but that's when Garth needs to step up to the plate. That's where he needs to show us the veteran experience that he has. That is he going to get into those situations where there's just nothing he can do, or is he going to get into those situations where it's like, oh, we caught Zed, oh no, we didn't. He's back to another shadow that we didn't even know about.
Yeah, he's got to show us if those Dota Karthus mechanics, the Smurf, like, converts. No pressure. I'm kind of moving that focus away from Vanzel, like you mentioned, towards maybe the more jungle-oriented gameplay. At the same time, Not's very experienced. He's playing Jarvan. Jarvan has a lot of early game potential, so does not have the read to potentially counter Zed, or do we see a situation where Zed maybe walks into the jungle, finds Jarvan, gets kill off that kind of snowball? So a lot of pressure, but at the same time, ATK is known for their team rotations. They like the buddy system, unique plus jungler, finds Zed, suddenly 1v1 that favors Zed, becomes 2v1 favoring ATK.
Knowing Not's playstyle, he likes to spend a lot of time in the opposition's jungle. So I expect him to be invading quite often this game, and I also expect Unique to be holding his hand, as you said. And I expect him to try and shut down Garth, but Garth is going to have to be smart with his pathing now. He doesn't want to be predictable. He wants to say, okay, cool, I'm going to change my pathing up. Not's going to come into my jungle, and the camp's either going to be gone, or we're going to have something there ready to catch him out.
I mean, even on that subject, we've had such massive changes to the jungle that it may just make it a little bit more interesting in terms of pathing as well as itemization. Everyone has almost like a Pokemon buddy with them now, so that's kind of made it a little bit interesting. My understanding is that one of them's really bad, the other two are quite viable, but like I'm curious to see what we get out of these two jungle picks. It should be good. I
think it's going to be an exciting matchup. So, ladies and gentlemen, now it's to you. You need to let us know in Twitch chat. We're going to be doing a giveaway where you stand a chance to win a Mettlestate hamper. This hamper consists of some awesome items. It's a Rapu gaming keyboard and mouse, a Mettlestate cap, a Funko Pop, and a Funko keychain, as you'll see in the bottom of the screen. Now, what you need to do to acquire this prize is you need to let us know in chat. What do you think is the most broken item?
There's only one correct answer to this, but I want to let Twitch chat see.
I want to hear some creative things from Twitch chat, because yes, we can say Steel Heart's broken right now because it's giving you that permanent HP, but I mean, I'm quite happy for someone to write in Twitch chat this long essay of why Blade of the Ruined King is the most broken item. Be creative.
I mean, we've got
give
new
us something
items.
spicy.
We've got Rod back. We've got a couple of like
We've got
cheeky.
Spear of Shojin.
Yeah, there we
that's
go.
always a good one.
Renekton's going to be stupidly broken. But I mean, there's obviously one correct answer to this question. Not biased though, but at the same time, I'm curious, do we have bronze chat today or do we have diamond chat? Because chat's kind of flippy. Like, we have some days where like they're really like top like 200 IQ. Other days it's like, what rock under bronze did you crawl out of?
I think if someone in chat can tell us with such great motivation, and you know, you can sell anything. So if they want to sell me Spear of Shojin or they want to sell me Blade of the Ruined King, they're going to make it happen.
For sure.
All right. So then, one last thing, chat. I need to know who is taking game number 1. Sheepii says ATK. I say Royalty. But who do you say? Hashtag Royal win. Hashtag ATK win.
RYL or ATK.
All right. We're going to be heading on to the Rift. Going to be starting game number 1 of this final.
Good luck to both sides. May the better team win. And I mean, something I've always said is with these kind of series, especially, I guess, less of especially with the best of 3 holder, I thought bots are unique.
Okay, so we're going to see the 5-man invade coming through from Royalty, but Unique being in a good position, going to be able to get that information, and it's not going to result in anything, but Royalty is going to be possibly pushing a little bit further, and maybe just create that threat so it forces ATK out of the jungle.
You know what they say, hey, buy a ward, save a life. And in this case, like, Royalty are walking in, trying to get any sort of potential edge. You get a little bit of a lead on the side of Royalty on potentially Garth, and he's going to maybe snowball out of control. So at the same time, top side, ATK getting their own vision, and nothing really coming from it too much.
Alright, so it looks like ATK have made their way into the red side jungle of Royalty. Is Royalty going to know about this? They are going to walk over a ward. Syndra going to be standing on that ward and going to be spotted out. But it looks like they might be looking to do this. Slayer is making his way. It looks
top side.
Sejuani flipped over, going to be taken very low. Going to have to flash over the wall, and that is advantage going over to ATK. But do they walk away here and just leave the buff?
So this is kind of something we've seen from ATK in the past, and like something we mentioned before the stream offcast, just having a bit of discussion, is that like ATK are different when it comes to finals. Like it's always been this case where they just pull out all the guns when it comes to that final like push. Legs a bit shaky. We've had in the past series, or like where they've just completely lost every scrim, but then when they get to finals, they just do not drop a single game. So that's finals buff applied to ATK, and we've known ATK in the past to look for these cheese. Like, they walk in, they stop Garth, they delay his potential start, so in this case, they didn't really net too much besides potentially top fade sums, but it's Speaks on Sejuani, so I mean, he's kind of safe. You're not going to really camp it.
It's not the worst flash to lose, because I know a lot of players, they usually play the Ignite TP Sejuani, so he's got the dash, he should be safe. 5 minutes from now, he'll have his flash up again. So it's not too much to worry about.
He kind of got that double dash with the flash and the Q, so he should be Gucci.
Also looking at just the pressure that they exert on Garth now, denying the jungle camps. I mean, Garth doesn't have the vision to see, is ATK still in my jungle? Is ATK waiting for me by my red buff? So he has to wait a bit. He has to wait for other champions to show in the lane to say, okay, cool, I can actually take my red buff now.
So I'm kind of curious what happens bot lane in particular in this case, because Tristana especially, she has that early like kill pressure if Unique steps up too far. He's a bit of a vulnerable fish, but at the same time, hello, dredge line, no connection.
He is looking for blood, but with that dredge line down now, it looks like ATK is going to just show a bit of dominance in the lane, knowing they've got that roughly 10-second advantage while that hook is on cooldown.
So, I mean, kind of going back again to that exhaust hold, I thought bot side Garth looking to potentially get a bit of a sneak. Dog following him through as well, has flank. Dump is going to be there. Vandal dropped the exhaust immediately. Hello, big bubble, make that double for the trouble as Clax now chunked down, but does end up finding himself 2 kills at 3 minutes in game.
Ooh, and Clax showing why taking this pick away from Vanzel and making it his is the play. Tristana jumps in, gets immediately exhausted, gets the bubble on her, gets taken down, and the first blood goes over. Jarvan there cleans up with the flag and drag and the double kill over to Vanzel, and that's exactly who they need the kills on.
That's honestly a bit of a tilter, so I'm kind of curious as to what the Royalty comms are like right now. That mental, like going in so early and such a crucial play on the enemy side picking up kills. So, I mean, we had, like we mentioned, Unique took away the Nami, said Darkside likes this champion, I can play it too, let me show you guys, and exactly that's what we saw there. A lot of Nami players get a little bit skittish, see a jump, instantly go for the bubble, miss, in this case, Unique flashes back, plays it safe, plays it cool, and gets the double trouble with that bubble.
I think that it's definitely Royalty need to just take a step back now and say, okay, we did the all-in. Okay, but obviously this happening. Not has made his way. Looks like they're prepping a minion wave. Okay, no, he's just going to shove it in, make sure that wave crashes into tower. No action coming yet.
So, Jetlust has kind of been a player that we've known to be very snowbally and carry. Like, he either goes hard, he's almost like the Tugger 2.0 in the sense that he hard carries or he hard hints. And, I mean, we've kind of, over the last season or two, seen a little bit more of, like, tank Jetlust. But in this case, we know that he does love his Urgot. So, top lane, our Spook's losing that flash, means that it's a potential for the top side gank. But at the same time, like, it is a Sejuani, not really the lane that you want to snowball in this case.
Alright, so we did see the question mark thing coming in the bot lane. So they're going to see that Hex Flash and nothing going to come out of it.
So, I mean, mid lane in particular, I really just don't see much coming from this matchup. It's kind of just like a bit of a farm up and join for team fights. So, oh, hello. Again, the bubble
does land when it's met with the dredge line, but Vanzo actually going to be taken so low. He's going to jump in, try and ignite that bomb. But Varus, he has the damage. And that's the third kill for Klax. 5.5 minutes in. That's who you want the kills on.
A little bit of like me died inside seeing that Vanzel jump. Ooh. Like he knew that's a one-way ticket, and he knew it was dead.
I think he knew he was dead.
He knew he was dead.
He was like, let me see, maybe the RNG gods help me out here. Maybe they give me enough damage to possibly take down Klax, but it was never going to happen there.
So slowly but surely, ATK edging that nail in, trying to seal the coffin as midside Darkside looking for some potential play. Finds the dredge, finds the potential counter for the knockup. Not's going to be up for the reaction. Peanut chunk down, takes a tower shot, loses one player. They may just drop two as bot side Vanzel's going to be kind of cut down a bit.
Flag and Drag is going to be available soon. Should be able to get on Syndra.
Denies it, Peanut plays it perfectly.
Ooh, the ult comes in and it looks like Not's going to get away with just 1 HP there.
So, I mean, the general rule of thumb is that, hold our thoughts, again, bot side is, let us have a breather, please. So, the general rule of thumb with League is that a counter gank is almost worth the double initial gank. So, with this Nautilus pick, especially in a case like this, where they're so far behind, you kind of just let your ADC sit. You become pseudo Ezreal, hold that thought topside, I'll speak to Jetlust, shouldn't really see too much coming from that. But, so, back to the bot side, Vance in this case is saying, dude, just get out of here, bot's doomed, we're not gonna actually win this 2v2 anymore. They took a chance, they took that flip, they lost it, 3-0 Vanzel, sorry, 3-0 Klax. So in that case, Darkside is basically just sent mid, potentially sent top, trying to get any sort of edge or opportunity back into this game. They want to claw it because it's looking kind of dire.
But I think this is where we're seeing the pressure from Jarvan, or we do see the stun land on Jetlust, followed by the ult. Is it going to be the kill? But no, it looks like not enough damage just yet. There will be a kill later on. But as I was saying, we are seeing the early impact from the Jarvan. Zed, possibly not the strongest early game jungler. He does have the death mark now, so I'm hoping that we can see some plays made from Garth, but he needs to start helping out Royalty because they are bleeding in the spot lane.
Do not want to see a Sejuani solo kill. Don't let it happen, Jetlust. So, I mean, let's go look at the mid lane discuss the mid lane for a bit. So, Peanuts is kind of like, he's a jungler, he's been moved into mid lane, and he's been doing pretty well. And something to sort of like touch on is the fact that he got a perfect cancel on Not's like EQ flag and drag. So if he mistimes that, he's dead. He's doomed.
Absolutely. I mean, Syndra in that trade did not have flash. So that's her only escape. It's not like she's just going to flash away from the flag and drag. It's that if I don't land my E, I'm dead.
Garth, there's a pink denying the vision.
Ooh, he should be able to get over here. He does use the
Shadow.
Deathmark going to come out and looks like he's going to land, and that's going to be the kill landing over to Garth on the Urgot.
Okay, so Royalty have a win condition. Garth snowballing out of control of the top lane. Bot lane, doomed. Like, this turret is gonna drop soon. And they've got a Klax who's insanely far ahead. He's up in CS, he's up in kills. So I'm interested to see what comes through from the macro gameplay as Topside of Speaks likes his turret shots. So I'm interested to see what we do get after that first break bottom. We should see potentially bot lane switching to mid or top lane, maybe into Rift Trail play. But again, ATK is kind of that team we know plays the macro game really, really well.
So I think this is what Royalty wants to do, or specifically what Garth wants to do here. He wants to funnel as much resources into himself because he knows if it works out, he will solo carry the game. He will one-shot the Klax, he'll get those shutdowns.
Oh, dredge line.
Ooh, it goes a little bit to the side, and it's not going to set up that shutdown fallback backs yet. But exhaust is available, so even if that lands, there's not really that kill pressure from the side of Royalty at this point.
I just don't see them taking that fight, even if it does land. I feel like this is a bit of a just watch out. I have the Halo boss side.
We do see the ultimate come out of Varus. It's going to be the Talbot wave. Ziggs, though, going to finish it off. 1, 2, 3. Tristana dead. And this tower is dropping down to 1 plate, and ATK is just
Jetless don't do it.
In the bot lane.
Jetless don't do it. It's a bait and switch. So, I mean, honestly, that was impressive. Like, that came down to communication bot side. So, they knew they had the dive pressure. They could pull trigger. They waited for Ziggs to potentially move his way down. So, he has that semi-global to basically kill off the final little oomph.
It is the perfect execution.
That has been practiced time and time again. Like, I'm genuinely impressed by that one. It's a good job. At the same time, like, okay, macro-wise, you should know this. Royalty need to identify the fact that, hey guys, ATK need to identify the fact that they're playing weak side, top side. He's playing, Jetless is playing his Urgot, he wants to fight, but you guys have such a massive lead bottom. Just chill top lane, play on a turret, we don't care. Give up the wave, give up the CS. It doesn't matter, just win through bottom. You don't have to be a hero in this case, just play to be that 0. Next game for sure.
Now it looks like ATK is going to pick up the first turret of the game. Dredge line though, onto the Varus.
That's
the
a bait!
exhaust comes out from both AD carries. A flash over the wall is going to come out from Varus. Not has made his way onto the Tristana, but the Tristana going to be able to jump out. It's auto flash, so quite safe, but getting those sums out of Plax, that's going to be an option for later.
Dude, the bubbles he has homing! Turn off the scripts! What is going on? Top side died 1 play left, so I mean, again, like, we just want Jetless on a turret, he's chilling. If you see Zed, then sure, maybe look for an opportunity. But again, Royalty's kind of playing towards that topside win condition, which is getting this Zed ahead. He has that bird item power spike now, the new Raveners. So we'll see what he can do, no pressure.
So I want to see now that the exhaust and the flash is down on Varus, Royalty have the opportunities to claim the shutdown. If they can just get Nautilus with a great ult, followed up by Zed engage. I mean, Zed is going to be doing some damage. He's got that Ravenous Hydra now. Okay,
so here we go. This is where the game starts. We've got bottom tier 1 brick broken. We have the map kind of opened up, and we can already see the lane swap coming through. Unique, on the other hand, making his way through towards topside, just making sure that vision has been cleared, but at the same time, Garth was able to pick up the eye, so they may just look for the mid-side break, but again, we're running out of time on the clock. 14 minutes in means no more plates, no more bonus gold, as topside outspeaks and darkside.
Well, I mean, this is a standard switch. You get the bot lane turret and move your way up the top. Looks like the engage is going to come on from Varus. It just looks like Nautilus being melted. Plax going on a rampage, but our Sejuani ult coming in. Zed does have the damage. Deathmark comes in. The double kill comes in from Varus, though, taking down the Sejuani before the shutdown comes in by the Syndra. Looks like Garth, though, is going to bite off more than he can chew, while the Jarvan is able to take him down.
So these kind of fights, they look like they favor ATK, which they do in terms of stats, but in a position where you're far behind like this, you kind of really need to take almost neutral, even fights, because you get shut down, so it becomes a little bit more in your favor. In this case, it was very aggressive. You could kind of see Royalties being a little bit shaky in terms of their team communication. There was no movement like we had from the Ziggs, in the form of Garth being there on time for the trigger pull. But, I mean, shutdown went to Syndra, which is fine, but ideal would have been onto the likes of Garth.
I mean, you want it on the Zed, because the Zed is going to be the one that snowballs your game. But I mean, Syndra, we've seen her scaling into late game. A kill is never going to be that bad. And a shutdown too, I think that's going to be... She's able to pick up that Luden's Tempest now as well as a Silk Boot. So definitely a Frable pick up, and we should be seeing a lot more work being done in the mid lane.
Right, the top tier 1 does end up trading back over, so we'll be able to even it out in terms of gold. However, 2k gold lead in favor of 80k. Like, it doesn't seem like that big of a difference in terms of gold, but you've got to keep in mind that that gold is sitting on Vanzel. He's like the main carry of this team. We've known Vanzel in the past to be very flippy, especially the likes of his Ashe. Do we get like super carry clacks, or do we get kind of shaky clacks? So far, we're seeing superhero clacks.
I mean, we see definitely a superhero clacks. And ATK, they are controlling this game. They pick up their second Drake of the game. It is going to be the Mountain Drake.
However, mid lane, 30 seconds on the clock, they need to get this charge. This is kind of like a forced out of Royalty.
This is gold that Royalty needs. It's definitely going to make the charge. It is going to be 2 plates going over to the side, but it looks like Jarvan has made his way in though. Syndra though going to use the sun. Ultimate comes out with a flash over the wall. Is going to get Syndra locked up, and Clack's going to be able to get another kill. 6th kill of the game onto Syndra, taking her down.
So that was kind of Operation Extracting Plate Gold. Like, you just want to get the charge off and get out, because if you overextend at all, if you sort of create any sort of window, ATK will punish you. And that's exactly what we saw there. That chain CC, they've got the range, no cleanse, because of the fact they're running double exhaust because of just on a matchup, makes it really, really awkward.
Alright, but it looks like ATK is going to open up the mid lane now, taking down their second turret of the game, and just getting more space. Now they can start moving into the jungle of Royalty, getting the deeper vision, having more room to work with, and creating just more of a threat for Royalty to have to deal with.
You know what they say, buy a ward, save a life, so we're seeing that coming through right there. Garth clearing the vision as mid-side, just looking to try to sharpen waves, but we have Slayer playing the Ziggs, same with the Syndra. They do one thing in particular really well, and that is clear waves. So again, a macro decision making to be kind of the back of this game.
Alright, so not too many objectives spawning anytime soon. We've got 1 minute and 20 seconds for the Herald. Doesn't have as much value as the first Herald now that turret plates have expired, but this is something that we should see at least one team looking to pick up, if not both teams looking to contest.
Alright, so, I mean, it's 2 Drakes already secured for the life sides of ATK. They're potentially playing for that sole win condition, slowing the game down, like we mentioned before, controlling vision, denying potential pickup of Scuttle, as now Vanzel just looking to clear, and we're kind of hitting that mid-game where the game almost slows down a bit. We shouldn't really see too much here.
I mean, now, here's the part where you don't want to be, and especially if you're Royalty, you've given up a lot, you've got 6 kills on this Varus that you're up against. You don't want to risk giving them that opportunity to take that 20-minute Baron. I mean, it's just 4.5 minutes till that spawn. It's exactly what you said. You want to slow down this game. We're going to get teams getting close to level 11, getting those power spikes, and a lot more damage if you get caught out. The opportunity to just execute.
So 2 points to touch on here, right? So something to keep in mind now, even though we know Klax is fed, he's just hit that 2-item power spike. He's just gotten... Oh, okay. I respect the fact that Darkside is still looking for these aggressive plays despite being so far behind.
So Jarvan in the jungle, going to use the Cataclysm on the Syndra. Flag and Drag comes in. Syndra, though, going to put out the ult, and it's going to be a kill for kill, but Varus actually going to snipe in and take down the Syndra.
That is huge, because Royalty, again, on the back foot, they want to have any sort of, like, even trade. In this case...
So it looks like this is in Syndra's favor, I'm going to be honest with you. But not he commits, he knows he has the backup of Klax, but that Syndra ult just being so much, taking him down as well.
I'm kind of surprised by how much damage that actually did, that outplay mechanic being popped. Click ult, good job Peanuts, his RP does in fact work as this side. So, I mean, I kind of think he only gets that trade off the back of the fact that he got the shutdown early in that previous fight, the 1 death on a Klax. So, again now Peanut just received another shutdown from Not, so it's like, suddenly we're kind of shifting, saying, Garth, you tried, it's fine dude, just chill, I've got this, put the game on my back, and now you're watching Peanut for that Royalty side victory.
But I mean, we haven't really seen much of Garth this game. We've seen him in the top lane, finding a kill onto the Urgot. We found him helping secure that kill onto the Varus, but other than that, he's just been farming up. He's sitting at 134 CS now. Not as much farm as we want on the jungler at this point, but at what point are we going to see Zed going from a farming jungler to a jungler that's going to start making plays, going to start getting important picks?
So just think about it this way, hypothetically, right? We've had the last day or two Royalty just crafting their comp, crafting what they want to do, saying, guys, I can carry this game, I know what I'm doing on Zed. We pick it, they have squishies, perfect case scenario. From here, I'm going to go basically snowball out of control, get pick after pick after pick, delete you here, there, and everywhere. But ATK are like, no guys, here, take the spanner, we're going to throw it right into your into your mechanics, and just with that invade in the early stages. ATK know that if they can put Garth on the back foot, that whole strategy is kind of delayed and almost potentially denied.
Alright, so this Herald is the next objective, and I think Royalty just give it. They're not in a place to contest, and it's theirs to take.
We had a shot.
Garth finding finding Varus on the side, able to get a quick pick there, getting that shutdown. We're just talking about it.
Can Royalty management tell Garth to stop listening to hold that thought mid-side? Big fight coming through. It's going to be ADK Slayer dropped in place. Peanut finds himself again another kill now. 3 for 2 for 0.
Oh, it looks like Royalty, they are not just giving up. They say, okay, cool, you take the Herald. We're going to find something great in the mid lane. They take down the AD carry, they take down the mid laner, and now they pick up the mid turret.
That's pretty much, it's Royalty in the lead. They're up in gold. Like, they're down Drakes.
That was a turning point. And I mean, getting that shutdown on the Varus, that Varus that has 7 kills, and Garth is just like, I feel like killing you now. He comes in, death mark, gone.
Do we have Zero or Hero Klax in this case? He was set up to be a hero, but he's starting to start showing the cracks, you know? Did he sleep right? Did he get out on the left or the right side of the bed in the morning? Like, we just cannot have Klax from the ATK perspective being caught off like he has been so far, because, I mean, in theory, perfect case scenario, ATK should just quite easily be able to play this piece, get the Nexus, take their first victory, and are basically chilling into the second game.
But Sheepii, this is something we actually have to start looking at now. Garth has so many options into ATK. Their team is not that tanky.
True.
It is Zed's dream.
Wet
I want to kill Nami. I want to kill Varus. I want to kill Ziggs. I want to kill Jarvan. I mean, Jarvan's not tanky. I mean, he's got Hydra. He's going for Gore Drinker. But he's not going to give that same tank as you're going to see out of a Sejuani, out of a Nautilus. ATK is not fielding that sort of tankiness.
Yeah.
And for Zed, it's just like, cool. I will kill who I want. Whoever you put in front of me.
Peanut is getting a little bit too close. He walked over that one, but Klax is looking for his redemption arc. He's been called out twice already, so he wants to kind of step back up as mid-side again. Peanut, like I said before, he's playing too far up without the vision, and in that case, he gets punished, but he loses the flash. Doesn't die, but okay, so I tried to touch on two topics earlier, but we didn't get a chance. We touched on the first. So going back to the second point, Tristana. We've seen this in the past, what Royalty likes to do when they have Vanzo.
Or Dredgeline going to land onto the Nami. Syndra though, from over the wall, going to be able to take down the Nami. Cataclysm comes in, but Zed takes down the job, and now Garth going to get taken down by the Urgot. He brings in the ult, and that's just going to be both teams dropping.
Dude, peanuts.
But Royalty... Yo, they're bringing this back, Sheepii.
The Syndra is like, not making it a second
We said they're going into the driving seat, the gold just went in their favor, and now Royalty gets to start playing their game. They no longer have to worry about the side of ATK. They're taking down the entire bot lane, and they're getting nuked. It's not just like a, oh,
this is my fault.
Varus just died. Oh, it was an unlucky pick. No, that was a very decisive play by the side.
pushed back on a turret, taking a lot of damage. Slayer does not have ult. Unfortunately, the nuke's not going to be there, but like, this is my fault. I said Caster's Curse 2 for 0 ATK. They were looking good. Suddenly, Royalty on the back of that mid lane carry, not going to be Garth, but instead...
We can see what happened here.
He gets a 2-man.
So, Syndra from over the wall. We see the dredge down that starts off. You think you're safe, but then boom. Syndra from over the wall, and that damage that comes in.
Do you like having health?
Oh, my word. And then just Klax. I mean, Klax, what are you doing? You inform members of Royalty. Jetlust, though, cleans up a little bit, but... it's a little too late at that point.
So again, like Jetlast kind of, with that top lane, had to play weak side, and this is him sort of saying, guys, I'm going to start playing. You guys can sit down. You threw away your lead. This is my turn now. So he gets that cheeky pickup. Garth is well able to find himself an extra. He has that 2-item power spike. But like, dude, Peanut's so far impressing me, and I'd be very, very surprised if we do see Syndra game 2.
Take a look at those items on Syndra. That's going to tell us why people are getting nuked at this point. We got a Luden's Tempest. We have a Death Cap. She's stacking AP. And into a team that's not
good flash.
tanky.
Good flash, yep.
She's going to be doing crazy damage. And I go back. That shutdown. Zed from over the wall going to get a bit of damage in. Looks like they're trying to get this charge off. Royalty trying to deny it, but Shelly gonna get stopped by those minions and taken down by Royalty.
So, I mean, okay, in this case, obviously that's not ideal. You want to get the charge off at least, which is what they were trying to do, apply the pressure, but we saw before a bit of a flip in that it was last time Royalty overextending to get the charge themselves. They lost players, they lost tempo. But in this case, instead, ATK not going to force it. It looks like support's going to be caught off in place. Return fire, no bubble, but it does not matter as our speaks just checking you, Nami. I'm watching you.
So that makes Nami actually, this is why Nami is a safe pick in this situation, because she has that disengage. Jarvan though, going to turn it around, going to have the Cataclysm coming in. Ziggs though picking up the Syndra, taking down quite a pivotal moment.
Blue side character. We're going to try to join this fight. So that team fight definitely went over the side of ATK. And the one player that died because he had no flash, he overextended about 3 or 4 minutes ago. He gets punished for it here.
Ooh, but where is Vanzo? Vanzo is in the jungle of ATK. He's going to flash the bubble, but...
Chief?
You don't live there.
Chief.
It's over. Except dead. Keep your flash for next fight. You're opening up opportunities for ATK now to pull all their way back in the game. You've just taken the lead, and now... what's the next objective? Baron.
Vanzor saw blood. He wanted fish, he wanted the sushi, he committed, he burnt the flash again. Peanut burning his flash earlier, so I mean this Nash is not 100%.
Alright, TP comes in from the Syndra, is channeled in. It's not going to be enough.
We said it earlier.
Don't
Vision.
let them leave. Don't give ATK more than you've already given them right now.
Buy a ward, save a life. In this case, it was not the case. Royalty, they had got close enough for the potential contest, which is what I was going to touch on, the fact that they could have a look to stealing it away. They have Zed, who has access to the pit very easily. He has the flash, he has the dash, he has the smite. In this case, though, Vision saying, guys, ATK, you can have this one for free.
Yes, Royalty made the decision to say, look, they take Barrett, we take Drake. We know we don't win that fight, and we know we just bleed more if we try contest.
So in this case, it's not the worst, because Royalty were able to find themselves Drake number 2, which kind of slows down ATK, but at the same time, like, this game has become a game of handing a baton back and forth. That picture in your head of, like, ATK having this huge lead, they're running, they're sprinting away, just basically stopping in place saying, guys, catch up, we want to have a bit of a more fun, entertaining, like, cast as well. So, guys, just catch up here, take the baton, you can have a little bit of a lead as well, run away, psych, give it back, they run back, and then, again, now this is Royalty sort of flipping it back, and ATK back in that lead.
Alright, so it looks like ATK, as you said, back in the lead, driving the seat, have this Baron buff now so they can start shoving in, start looking to crack open the tier 2 turrets of Royalty.
I mean, I respect the hustle. Vanzel just got caught off, but he's still looking for his edge. It's a bit of a dark side, so they've got that in common.
Is trying to bait a bit there, trying to say, okay, cool, I want to fight you because I know I've got my entire team behind me that's on their way.
But he doesn't know if he has friends, so they're both kind of playing a game of chicken of, like, who's going to overcome it.
Alright, in the mid lane though, we do see Plax going golden to stay alive longer. Cataclysm comes on to 2 members of Royalty, but it looks like Garth is going to be taken down by the Jarvan, the Gore Drinker doing some work. Flag and Drag coming in, triple kill for Jarvan, and this Baron buff is just what ATK need to push in. This has to be an inhibitor now for the side of ATK, opening the base and snowballing that lead, because that is, they were even before that fight. It was 46,000 gold to 46,000 gold, and Royalty's just like, cool, we want gold.
Do they grieve for
and
the finish?
I mean, there's time. They can.
They got the finger.
Stopping it.
They got the finger, but they want the hand. Nexus turn number 1.
The flash coming in onto the Stana. Stana going to go low. We are going to see Ultimate come in. Sejuani going to be the first to fall. 5 members of ATK alive. 1 member of Royalty. 2 members now of Royalty. Flag and Drag onto the Stana. Going to get the knockup. Going to get the kill, and that is going to be the Nexus falling, and game number 1 going over to the side of ATK in a dominating performance at the end.